I'm trying to find myself again. Who am I beneath the pain? Hi, before we begin, I want to ask you something. Have you ever said to yourself, I don't know who I am anymore? Or perhaps I'm still trying to find myself. If you have, you're not alone. Many people reach a point in life where they feel disconnected from themselves. They continue working, they continue taking care of responsibilities, they continue showing up for others, but deep down they feel lost. And today's video is for those people. Do you feel lost? Maybe your life looks normal from the outside. You have a job, a family, responsibilities, people around you, but inside something feels different. Something feels missing. You may find yourself thinking, I don't feel like the person I used to be. I don't recognize myself anymore. Where did the real me go? And perhaps the most painful question is, how did I get here? Maybe you are not the problem. I want to share something important with you. Maybe you are not the problem. Maybe you are not weak. Maybe there is nothing wrong with you. Perhaps you have simply been carrying emotional pain for a very long time. Pain that was never fully understood. Pain that was never fully healed. Many people spend years blaming themselves when the real problem is the pain they have been carrying. Childhood wounds stay with us. Some wounds cannot be seen. They do not leave scars on the skin, but they leave scars on the heart. Perhaps you grew up in a home filled with criticism. Perhaps there was anger, fear, conflict, or emotional neglect. Maybe you never felt truly safe. Maybe you never felt truly understood. And those experiences often stay with us long after childhood has ended. Childhood ends, but the effects remain. Many people believe that once childhood is over, the past no longer matters. But psychology tells us something different. The experiences we have as a children often shape how we see ourselves, how we see other people, and how we move through life. Childhood may end, but its effect often remains, sometimes for years, sometimes for decades. Why am I like this? Perhaps you overthink everything. Perhaps you worry constantly. Perhaps you fear people will leave you. Perhaps a small situations affect you more deeply than they affect others. And maybe you have asked yourself, am I like this? Why do I react this way? Why do I struggle so much? Often the answers are not found in the present. Are found in the experiences that shaped us long ago. Why do we start seeing ourselves as less? No child is born believing they are not good enough. That belief develops over time through criticism, through rejection, through neglect, through repeated experiences that make us question our worth. Eventually, we begin to believe maybe I'm not enough, maybe something is wrong with me. And those beliefs become part of how we see ourselves. When we start blaming ourselves over time, Over time, many people stop blaming the situation and start blaming themselves. They say things like, I'm not good enough. I always fail. I ruin everything. There must be something wrong with me. But often these thoughts are not the truth. They are echoes from old experiences, old messages, old wounds that have stayed with us for years. So, what is the real wound? Many people believe their biggest wound is what happened to them, but often the deeper wound is something else: loneliness, feeling unwanted, feeling unseen, feeling misunderstood, feeling abandoned. Sometimes people lose someone they love deeply, and when that person leaves, it feels as though a part of them leaves too. People only see the anger. When someone becomes angry, people see the anger. When someone drinks too much, people see the drinking. When someone pushes people away, people see the behavior. But very few people see the pain underneath, the grief, the loneliness, the fear, the hurt. And sometimes what needs healing is not the behavior itself, but the pain hidden beneath it, the pain hidden behind the anger. Many people believe anger is the problem, but often anger is only the visible part. Underneath the anger, there is usually something much deeper: pain, fear, loneliness, disappointment, grief. Sometimes people become angry because they feel hurt. Sometimes they become angry because they feel rejected. Sometimes they become angry because they feel unseen. And sometimes they become angry because they have been carrying emotional pain for so long that they no longer know how to express it. This is why understanding your anger is so important, because healing the anger often means healing the pain underneath it. I don't want to be like this. Many people struggle with behaviors they do not like. They lose their temper, they push people away, they shut down emotionally, they react in ways they later regret. And afterwards, they often feel guilty, ashamed, disappointed in themselves. They tell themselves, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to keep repeating the same patterns. But healing does not begin with self hatred. Healing begins with understanding. Because when we understand why we react the way we do, we can begin to change. Who am I beneath the pain? Let me ask you an important question. If you remove the fear, the anger, the grief, the loneliness, the emotional wounds, who would you be? Who is the real person underneath all that pain? The person who existed before the hurt, before the disappointments, before the heartbreak, before the survival mode. Perhaps that person is still there. Perhaps they have never disappeared. Perhaps they have simply been hidden beneath years of emotional pain. Maybe you were never lost. Many people spend years saying, I'm trying to find myself. But maybe the truth is different. Maybe you were never lost. Maybe your true self became buried beneath fear, beneath grief, beneath trauma, beneath survival. And now you are slowly finding your way back. Not because you are becoming someone new, but because you are reconnecting with who you have always been. You are not broken, you are hurt. If you have spent years believing there is something wrong with you, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken, you are not a failure, you are not beyond healing. You have simply been carrying pain for a very long time. And pain changes people. Pain affects how we think, how we feel, how we trust, and how we connect with others. But pain is not your identity. Pain is an experience, not who you are. You have survived things that were difficult. You have carried burdens that were heavy. You have kept going when life was hard. That is not weakness, that is strength. And perhaps now the goal is no longer just to survive. Perhaps now it is time to begin healing. Now it's time to understand yourself. If you have seen yourself somewhere in this story, if some part of today's conversation feels familiar, you may be wondering, now what? What do I do with all of this? And that is where healing begins. Healing does not begin when the pain disappears. Healing begins with when we stop running from the pain and start understanding it. For years, you may have been trying to survive, trying to get through one day at a time, trying to carry burdens nobody else could see. But perhaps now it is time to stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what happened to me? That single question can change everything. Stop being so hard on yourself. Many people speak to themselves in a way they would never speak to someone else they love. They tell themselves, I'm weak, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, I should be over this by now. But what if you spoke to yourself differently? What if instead of criticism, you offered yourself understanding? What if instead of blame, you offered yourself compassion? You have been through things that were difficult. You have carried pain that was real. Perhaps it is time to stop fighting yourself and start standing beside yourself. Begin to understand your pain. Healing does not require you to pretend the pain never happened. Healing asks you to understand it. Ask yourself, what hurts the most? What am I still carrying? What am I afraid of? What loss have I never fully grieved? Sometimes we spend years trying to fix the symptoms without understanding the wound. But when we begin to understand our pain, we begin to understand ourselves. And understanding creates the possibility of healing. The pain behind the anger. The next time you feel anger rising inside you, pause for a moment. Take a breath, take a breath, just breathe and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Is it anger or is it hurt? Is it anger or is it disappointment? Is it anger or is it fear? Very often, anger is simply the bodyguard standing in front of a deeper emotion. And when we learn to listen to what is underneath, we begin to heal the real wound. Your past is not your whole story. Your past matters. What happened to you matters. The pain mattered. The fear mattered. The loneliness mattered. But your past is not your entire story. Your wounds are not your identity. Your mistakes are not your identity. Your fears are not your identity. You are more than what happened to you. You are more than what hurt you. You are more than what you survived. And perhaps the most important things to remember is this: your childhood may explain your struggles, but it does not have to decide your future. You can learn, you can grow, you can heal, you can build healthy relationships, you can trust yourself again, you can create a life that feels safe. And one day, you may realize that the person you were searching for was never truly gone. They were there all along, waiting for you to come home to yourself. You are more than your wounds. For a long time, you may have defined yourself by what happened to you: the abuse, the rejection, the loss, the mistakes, the disappointments. But your wounds are only one chapter of your story. They are not the entire book. You are more than the pain you have carried. You are more than the fears you struggle with. You are more than the experiences you hurt that hurt you. There is more to you than survival. There is more to you than suffering. There is more to you than your past. Healing begins with small steps. Many people believe healing requires a dramatic transformation, but most healing happens quietly, slowly, one small step at a time. A healthier choice, a better boundary, an honest conversation, a moment of self respect, a moment of self compassion. You do not need to heal everything today. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need to keep taking the next small step. Because small steps taken constantly can completely change a life. The child who survived. I want you to think about the child you once were. The child who lived through difficult experiences. The child who carried fears they could not explain. The child who felt lonely. The child who felt confused. The child who simply wanted to feel safe. The child did the best they could. That child survived situations they never should have faced. That child carried burdens that were never there to carry. And perhaps today, instead of judging that child, you can begin to appreciate their strength because without the child, you would not be here today. You were meant for more than survival. For years, you may have been focused on getting through life, getting through the day, getting through the week, getting through another difficult situation. But you were not born simply to survive. You were born to live, to grow, to love, to connect, to dream, to build, to experience joy. You deserve more than a life controlled by fear. You deserve more than a life controlled by old wounds. There is a difference between surviving life and truly living it. And perhaps now it is time to move from survival to heal and from healing to living. Final thoughts. If today's video spoke to something you have been carrying silently, I want you to remember this. You are not broken, you are not weak, you are not lost. You have been carrying pain, and pain can heal. You have been carrying fear, and fear can soften. You have been carrying wounds, and wounds can recover. The person you have been searching for many years may not be somewhere out there. They may still be inside you, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be understood, waiting to be accepted. Be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and remember healing is not about becoming someone else, it is about coming home to who you truly are. Thank you for spending this time with me. Please take gentle care of yourself and thank you for listening. If today's conversation spoke to you, something you have been carrying silently, and you would like to better understand emotional loneliness, hidden pain, survival mode, self worth, and emotional healing, my book, Strong Outside, Empty Inside, may help. The book explores many of the emotional struggles people carry for years while appearing strong on the outside. You can find the link in the video description and in the pinned comment below. Thank you for listening.